Good morning. This special called meeting of the Pender County Board of Education is now called to order. It has been determined that we do have a quorum today. And at this point, we will take a roll call vote for the adoption of the agenda. Since we are having a virtual meeting today, everyone will have to say their name during the roll call vote. So do we have a motion for the agenda?
I've got a question before we vote on the agenda. There's been a lot of people that have expressed a desire to tell us what they think about this publicly today, and this is a special meeting. So I don't know if there's a way that we can, and you cannot modify the agenda at a special meeting. Is that right, Mr. McPherson?
Well, you can certainly add an item to the agenda before the agenda is approved. It would be out of the ordinary. If you would like to add a public comment section to the meeting agenda, you can, but it'll have to be a part of the agenda approval process. So,
Well, we have 7 phone call comments as far as I know. And in my opinion, the public has a right to be heard, so just saying.
okay. Is there a desire to have those public comments added to the agenda to be played? Is that the sense of the board, or would you like to make that in the form of a vote, in the form of a motion, Mr. Hall?
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda with that added, yes.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Mr. Spivey seconds the motion.
Okay, and we will now have a roll call vote. Mr. Reeves? Mr. Spivey?
Here.
Ms. Hanson?
Yes.
And Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We now have an amended agenda. At this point, can we get a motion to adopt the agenda?
Make a motion. This is Jennifer Hansen, a motion to adopt the agenda.
And
Have a
Don
motion.
Hall, I will second.
Thank you. And again, a roll call. Ms. Hanson?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Spivey?
Yes.
And Mr. Reeves? Okay, thank you. Our agenda has been amended and adopted. At this time, I think we should make that public comment. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way at this point. Let's go ahead and hear what our folks have to say.
And there's none in person. So this
There
is
are
only
none in
call-ins.
person. I believe, Mr. Finkbonner, we have 7. We have 7 phone calls, so at this time, those phone calls are not to exceed 3 minutes. So at this time, we're going to have public comment.
Hello, this is Brandy Odom. This is a public comment for the May 28th board meeting regarding the proposed bell schedule changes. I strongly oppose the proposed shift that would require Heidi Trask High School students to start an hour earlier than Cape Fear Elementary and Middle School students. This change is not only impractical, it's unacceptable. It would create a serious disruption for working families, especially in communities like ours, where parents rely on a coordinated school schedule to manage transportation, supervision, and family responsibilities. High schoolers are not more equipped to start earlier. In fact, national research consistently shows that teenagers have biologically later sleep cycles and that early high school start times harm academic performance, mental health, and even safety on the roads. Forcing teens to begin their day even earlier while elementary students get the later, more developmentally appropriate schedule is backwards and unfair. This change would upend daily life for families with children in multiple schools, forcing impossible decisions about drop-offs, jobs, and after-school care. Many parents simply cannot be in two places at once. The result will be higher absenteeism, chronic tardiness, and increased stress on both parents and students. Cape Fear Elementary, Cape Fear Middle, and Heidi Trask families deserve better than a rushed decision that prioritizes logistical convenience over child well-being and family stability. I urge the board to reject this harmful schedule change and seek solutions that actually work for our community. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gia Odom, and I'm in 8th grade at Cape Fear Middle School. I will be starting high school at Heidi Trask this fall, and I'm really upset about the proposed change to the school start times. Starting high school at 7:10 in the morning is way too early. It's more than an hour earlier than when the high school starts now. That means I'd have to wake up before 6 a.m. just to get to school on time. As a student athlete, this makes things even worse. I already get home late from games and practices, sometimes not until 9 or 10 o'clock at night. There's barely time to eat, shower, do homework, and get enough sleep. Starting school earlier will make it almost impossible to be rested and ready to learn. High school is supposed to help prepare us for our future, but how can we succeed when we're exhausted all the time? It's not fair to expect us to perform at our best with even less sleep. This really matters to me because I just finished middle school playing 4 sports and maintaining all A's and B's for the entire year. I've been successful in academics and athletics at middle school level and want to continue as a high schooler. Please don't change the schedule. It's not what's best for students, and it's going to hurt more than it helps. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Sarah, and I am a concerned parent of a student at Pender Elementary, and the time changes for the bells will not work with a full-time employed parent. There is no way I could get my kid to school on time with an after 7:30 bell time. I understand that the time subject to change would be after 8, so she would more than likely have to switch schools thanks to your time changes. If you would, please consider all working parents in this decision. And also, a 3:30 bell time in the afternoon is ridiculous. I don't know why the times need to change on our side of the county, but please consider all working parents. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Jason Mahalko. I have 2 kids in the Pender County school system, one at Trask, one at Cape Fear Middle. I'm concerned about the bell schedule change. It's very inconvenient. It's way too early, especially for the high schoolers, for getting up that early, that play sports. Thank you.
Hi, this message is in regards to the tiered bell schedule being considered at Wednesday's meeting. I'm the parent of a rising senior at Trask High School. She's also an athlete, and it is really concerning that our new conference will have us traveling further. Therefore, she is set to get home later than the 1 a.m. latest time she returned home last year, only to have to get up an hour and a half earlier for school if this new bell schedule passes. She is also working, and some nights it is till 10 or 11 p.m., so she won't get home then until late as well. Please reconsider these early start times. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Brandy Odom, and this is a public comment for the special meeting on May 28th, 2025, regarding the proposed bell schedule changes. As the board meeting was canceled on the 27th, I would expect this to be read during this special meeting tomorrow on May 28th. I strongly oppose the
Stop
proposed
that.
shift that would...
Right. First of all, let me address something. At the last board meeting, quite honestly, I made a bad call by allowing someone to read 2 letters during public comment. That is something that we've never done before, and we let a young lady go beyond the 3 minutes that we typically give for public comment. I'm calling myself out on that because I should have caught it and I should have stopped it. and I'm the first who will tell you when I make a mistake, and I did. So at this time, I've also noticed, I believe this was the second call from Miss Odom. So we're going to take the first call, but we're not going to listen to the second call because she's already had her one call, okay? So let's skip over that one and go to the next one, please.
Hi, this is a public comment for the meeting on May 28th. I understand public comment is not on the agenda, but the meeting today was canceled, so my comment couldn't be shared. My name is Gia Oderman. I'm an
Okay,
8th grader
and
at
that's the
Cape Fear Middle
second.
School.
Right.
Hi, this is for a public comment for the meeting regarding Bell's schedule. My name is Amy Farmer. I am a parent of a graduating senior and a rising 10th grader. My comment is, I know we've talked about this before at a prior meeting, but going over high school start times, just to go over some research with you guys. American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that high school students begin class after 8:30 a.m. And that's due to a variety of reasons. We all know adolescents require more sleep and often go to sleep later. And just to go over a little bit of the research as to why that's going to be harmful for our high schoolers. We know that there's increased sleepiness, so inability to focus, difficulty concentrating, behavior problems. Studies after study have shown increase in absenteeism and tardiness, lower grades, reduced test scores, increased risk of accidents, and other associated health problems, just to name a few. And I wanted to refer the board to a couple of studies actually done right here in our home state. But if you just simply click on early high school start times adversely affect attendance, that was released from NC State University, April 27th, 2020. A good article to go over. They essentially found in their abstract that test scores were not only affected, but again, absenteeism, progress in high school and college were reduced for these students. So that's just to name a few. And then another study that actually came out through UNC Chapel Hill. If you simply research answering the bell, high school start times and student academic outcomes, again, showing a variety of negative effects on high schoolers. Well, time earlier. I know that there are issues with shortages in buses, but starting our high schoolers earlier than our elementary and middle school students is not the solution. You're going to see more harm than good. So I just invite you to take that into account. Use research to back up your decision, and I thank you.
Okay, I was just told that that is our last phone call for public comment. At this time, we're going to go right into number 3, our action agenda, 3.1, three-tier bell schedule. And Mr. Taylor, I'm going to ask you to give us a somewhat abbreviated presentation. Since we've all seen this before, this schedule has been all over social media and all over, I think, our website. So we're going to, like I said, just an abbreviated presentation to give the board something to start conversation.
Ms. Burns, if I could lead
Sir,
us
Dr.
in,
Breedlove.
lead into the presentation with Mr. Taylor, and I just want to kind of go over kind of what has been done over the last 2.5 years very quickly. As you know, that we have been working on a 3-tiered system for multiple years now. In order to support our school system as a whole, especially in the area of transportation and congestion in and around, especially the east side, Highway 17. And so working with groups like DOT, this is a recommendation from Pender County Schools to the Board of Education to protect instructional time. Each year, we continue to have increased delays or issues getting students to and from school on time. 2 years ago, we had just over 10 double routes. Then we went to 18, and now we are 20 plus double routes. It continues to get worse. Triple routes. We've had situations in which elementary students who start the earliest and get out at 2:30 are still at school at 5:30. And looking at multiple issues related to transportation, congestion, overcrowding, increased number of students in our schools, we have outgrown a two-tier system. And we have looked at this three-tier system as a viable option, understanding that change is very difficult. It's difficult on a lot. We certainly wish that we could please everybody with a solution. We are not here to create a system that puts an undue burden on families, and that's. I just want our community to know that we do support our community, we do listen, but we're also responsible for making sure that students get to and from school at a reasonable time across the board in a safe manner. And so coming to you again with a proposed three-tier system. Original proposal had elementary starting first, and then high school, and then a middle school proposal. Understanding that that is also difficult, especially on families that have students at Surf City Elementary, Surf City Middle, Topsail Annandale, Topsail Middle, and separating those by an hour and a half is extremely difficult. And also looking at casting the widest net possible and reducing the number of delays that we have. Starting high school first ended up being a viable option for the three-tier because it would reduce our furthest away students getting to school late. And so, and when you can cast the widest net and then shorten that net each run to elementary and then to middle, it does reduce the amount of buses that are getting to school late and getting home late. So that's why we have moved to a high school schedule that starts first. That is similar to many other school systems across the state of North Carolina that do the similar three-tiered system in the same manner. And looking at the three-tier goals, obviously we want to eliminate the need for established daily double routes. We would like to improve our transportation efficiency because it actually pulls buses off of routes. We can actually run fewer buses, thus requiring fewer drivers. We all know that we have a driver shortage, and we will continue, and I appreciate the board and our county commissioners of working with us to try and improve that job as a bus driver and increasing pay, purchasing bus radios so our bus drivers can communicate and we can communicate with them in real time rather than relying on cell phones. We work on cloud-based video so we have instant access to bus videos, cleaning up discipline on our buses, doing a lot of things right, and I appreciate the board's support on that. And this is just a proposal on when we look at a three-tier system to enhance our transportation department and what we're doing. And so this morning we do have a proposed set of bell times that we would like to kind of go over and then turn it over for just Q&A from the board at that time. So Mr. Taylor, would you please take us through the most current iteration of a three-tiered system?
Yes, sir. This is the third iteration. As you mentioned, we have proposed in the past an elementary, middle, high school, then a middle, high school, and elementary start time. After continued feedback from individuals, board members, et cetera. We did create a proposal that moves the high school first and slightly adjusts the elementary and then the middle school following. As you can see, all high schools would be aligned with a start time of 7:10, again, keeping with the mantra of one Pender, and more closely aligning our schools to similar bell times. We have shortened the day from 7 hours to 6 hours and 55 minutes in many of those schools, excluding a couple of West Side middle schools where buses are still shared with elementary and middle school students, dropping off the middle schoolers first and picking them up last, specifically at West Pender Middle School and Burgall Middle School. We have also made an effort to ensure that no schools started prior to 9 o'clock and that all schools were dismissed prior to 4 o'clock, which were two of the significant concerns that were shared with the last proposal. I think that's all I have regarding the proposed times.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate
What
that.
questions do you have?
Board members, do we have any questions?
I've got one. Did, that efficiency rating that DPI scores us on with transportation,
Yes, sir.
is that factored into this at all?
We have utilized the metrics from, remind me of the name, Mr. Britton, the company? Edgelog, to help ensure that we will not reduce in the efficiency rating, that removing 12 buses from our fleet will improve our efficiency rating, and therefore, we should expect the same or higher funding from the state regarding our transportation program.
Yeah,
The
just,
concept behind the efficiency rating is to move the most students to and from school, traveling the least number of miles using the least number of buses. That's just a basic cloud version of what that transportation
But the
efficiency
state
rating is
scores
based.
us, they basically score us on that every year, right?
That's correct.
I know you've explained it before
Yes, sir.
in other meetings. It's been a while, but it,
Yes, sir.
I just don't want money to be the only factor
Certainly.
in this, in some of these changes. is,
Well,
my point.
I would agree with you on that, sir, because our students and their instructional time is the most important thing. Secondly, I would say improving our campus safety, specifically at Topsail-Annandale and Topsail Middle, Surf City Elementary and Surf City Middle, is another huge factor that weighs on my mind often regarding the time of take-in and dismissal. Anyone who's been out there and has any background in emergency management or emergency services would have serious concerns regarding the traffic that is being created during those specific times.
It's my understanding there's really long lines that extend out on Highway 17, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. At times,
Seems
at Surf
dangerous.
City in particular, there are cars that weave out of the entrance down Literacy Lane and back around to Perkins and then on to Highway 17. We received a few phone calls this year regarding requesting DOT to do an analysis regarding a placement of a light there at Perkins, and there was one done several years ago. It was not needed at the time, but they have agreed to conduct another study. However, Ms. Hanson, other studies have been created. I know Mr. Hall and Ms. Burns are well aware of the studies that were done by DOT specifically at the Topsail-Annandale and Topsail Middle campus area there where Vista Lane comes in, and their recommendation has been since 2020, if I'm not mistaken, to move those bell times to a staggered 45-minute minimum time between the bells.
Since you mentioned the word staggered, could you explain to me what you feel like if there is a difference between staggered and three-tier bell schedule?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The three-tier bell schedule is just the phrasing that we've used as having three different leveled schools attending school at different bell times, elementary, middle, and high, all being separate. The same thing can be explained through stating staggered bell. Because obviously if 3 grade levels don't have the same bell, then it must be staggered. So 3-tier and stagger are synonymous.
That was-
Vocabulary terms, it just depends on the person that's making the statement. Does that answer your
That
question?
answers my question, because as we all know as well, once you move a bus to do something else, then it creates the domino effect of where is it gonna be going next and how does it impact that? And
That's correct. Yes, ma'am. Once you initiate a start time, the others have to be staggered because we're utilizing the same human and mechanical resources,
Thank you,
or capital resources.
thank you.
Well, and this is Beth Burns. The reason for the urgency, that the reason why we decided to call a special called meeting today, basically is rooted in logistics. Our transportation department needed ample time to begin planning routes, and that is a lengthy process, that honestly requires months of coordination. I would say that's
Yes,
a
ma'am.
true statement. And we also realize that parents, if we do this, we also realize that parents would need time
Sure.
to adjust their schedules when the new year gets here. And honestly, I think we might have moved too fast. And especially, the intention was to be proactive. And y'all, this is just my opinion, not that of the boards, but, I think while the intention was to be proactive, the process, might have gone a little bit more quickly than what we should have had it. And so whatever happens here today, please know that we're going to go forward with listening to everyone's concerns. I know that a lot of you, I've seen a lot of social media posts, and quite honestly, I know that there are a lot of people who are not very happy with us right now, and I'm going to address that. We are not here to, we're not here to make your lives harder. Our true intention is to try to make the ride to school a little bit more safe and to try to give your children the best quality of academics that we can possibly deliver. And I stand behind what the superintendent said, and thank you very much, Dr. Breedlove. I appreciate you saying what you did earlier. Like I said, we understand that the decisions that we make impact your lives, and your voices matter to us. And moving forward, we are committed to ensuring that we don't just act quickly, but that we act with purpose. And that's really all I need to say. Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments from any other board members?
Jennifer Hansen, can you kind of explain a little bit about why high school is so much different as far as the transportation issue versus the elementary and middle schools?
Well, I think that there are a lot of factors to consider when looking at the high school. Obviously, you have the largest attendance areas. Then we do have to consider, obviously, how we manipulate our campuses when it comes to our daily schedule because of lunches. Our cafeterias do not hold the entire student population, therefore we have to stagger lunches within the bell schedule. We have to also take into consideration those students who are involved in extracurricular activities, not just athletics, but our high schools have numerous extracurricular activities where students are sometimes leaving during fourth period, and it causes us, well, I shouldn't say us because I'm no longer a high school principal, but as a high school principal, we work to ensure that fourth period had the least tested areas, but obviously in some of our smaller schools, you can't drive a schedule that prevents those tested areas from falling during the last block of the day, where many of our students are leaving school early. Furthermore, obviously, I think, there's I mean, I understand some of the comments that were made, but we also have families who work, and many of our high school students already get up in the mornings in many of our areas because they have morning opportunities at home or neighbors, et cetera. So I think that's all I really have. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I really was wanting everyone to understand that high school is different because the area that we're encompassing is so much
Correct.
larger
Yes, ma'am.
than middle schools.
Right.
And elementary.
Absolutely. The attendance zones, obviously you break up the county into thirds versus how many middle schools, and then of course we have more elementary schools, right?
Thank you.
So those attendance zones get smaller based on the grade level in which the buses are running.
And this is Beth Burns. And that 7:10 start time, that is not something that is, that's not something that we would be the only, if we did decide to do this, that we have neighboring counties who also have a similar start time for their high schools.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Hanson, I believe you had some information on that.
Yeah, I tried to get some bell schedules for specifically the conference schools that Trask and Pender would go to.
Yes, ma'am.
And some schools have them, some don't. Most of them don't publish that. I don't know if they feel like a safety issue or whatever, but I will say, schools that we have been in a conference with in the past, I did check with them when we were in a difference conference, and Dixon High School in Onslow County, they actually begin at 7:05.
Yes, ma'am.
And Richlands High School also begins at 7:05, and they all both get out at 2:10. And I felt like they may, and I don't know, but I felt like maybe they were similar to us because they have a wide net
Yes,
as
ma'am.
well. I mean, it's rural areas that are, growing.
Great.
I will say, the one I was able to get was West Columbus that is in their conference, and they start at 7:40. So, anyway,
Most of the school districts that do utilize a three-tier program, high schools do go first. Most of the ones that I've worked with in the past, et cetera.
I'm sorry, excuse me, they take in at 7:40, they actually start first period at 8 o'clock at West Columbus. So, anyway, that's what.
We are an anomaly when you look across the state as well as the nation regarding our late high school start times. I would agree with that.
Well-
About 96% of the high schools across the nation start earlier than we do.
And I looked at New Hanover County, but when they start at 8:30, they have basically had the same schedule that we currently have. But they have such a smaller area that they're
Sure.
encompassing that is not really comparable to what we're doing, so, in my opinion.
I think historically, both New Hanover County and Pender County migrated to the current start times together, but it's been quite some time ago. Before my time.
Well, this is Beth Burns, this originally began as we were trying to find a solution for the amount of traffic that is on the 17 corridor right there at Topsail Annandale, Topsail Middle, and Topsail High, which was one of the reasons why I know that we have a one Pender mindset, but quite honestly, it has been my opinion, again, just my opinion this entire time, that we should start with the east side with this three-tier bell schedule, and then possibly move it as the west grew, then we could look at the west side and adjust their bell schedule. But just in my opinion, with what we're dealing with right now, with the traffic, I felt that east side is ready for three-tier bell schedule. I don't know how all the rest of the board members feel, but I just felt that I needed to put that out there. I'm an east side representative, and I also am out in that traffic no more than I absolutely have to be in the morning. I will admit that. But I will tell you that I don't feel it's safe for our students to have all of that traffic on the road in the morning at one time.
And in the afternoon, honestly.
Yes, well, and anyone, it's not just, and I will admit, it is not just school traffic. Anyone who was in Hampstead yesterday I know they had to have been held up at least 30 minutes, and that was about 11:30 when I got into Hampstead yesterday, and the traffic was from, I think that was, let's see, there at the annex, all the way back to almost Sloop Point Loop. The traffic was bumper to bumper. I don't know why. I don't know if there was an accident, but in the summertime, I know we have an influx of tourists coming in. It almost reminded me of a school morning. But we have to do something. So with that, board members, is there any more discussion?
Jennifer Hansen, please, I know I asked for the letter from, that was saying that we were going to be, I'll say, required to stagger the times for this driveway permit. Can somebody address that?
We have that letter. I'll be glad to send that to you. Yes, ma'am.
I have it. I just
Oh, you
want
do
you
have
to
it.
explain your interpretation of that, or someone.
MSTA, the Municipal School Traffic Association, and DOT, which is a part of DOT actually, are the ones who provide the guidance and dictate the stipulations regarding a driveway permit for any new schools that are constructed in the state of North Carolina. Based on the letter we received and their approval for us to move forward with the design for the traffic impact adjustments along the right-of-way, the size of our driveway proposal, deceleration lanes, acceleration lanes, turning lanes, all of those things are dictated by MSTA. And one of the items was a mandatory stagger of a minimum of 45 minutes between the bell times of the K-5 school and the 6-8 school. Does that answer your question?
Thank you. And there have been some questions of, well, why can't that just be for that school? Can you address why it can't just be for that particular school?
Well, I think it degrades systems perspective, and we're treating different kids differently. I think we collectively need to make suggestions and solutions that provide opportunities for all kids in Pender County schools.
Thank you.
Mr. Spivey and Mr. Reeves, are you guys still on the phone with us?
Yes, Bobby's still here.
Thank you. Mr. Spivey, do you have any comments or questions you would like?
I do not.
Okay. Is Mr. Reeves on the phone with us? Is Mr. Reeves on the phone with us?
He is. He's still on.
Okay. Mr. Reeves, are there any questions or comments you'd like to make? Okay. Okay. Well, board, we're at a point where a decision is going to have to either be made. You've got several different options in front of you, or you could take an option to give this a little bit more time.
I do have one more question, or
Yes,
a
ma'am.
thought. So far we've tried to figure this 3-tier or staggered schedule in-house. Is that correct?
We utilized Edgelog to help drive our decisions. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is that a software, or is that
It's a
company?
third-party vendor that deals with the metrics related to the transportation program across the state of North Carolina. Yeah, this isn't a new idea.
Oh, no, no,
It's
no.
being utilized by multiple districts across the state, and they also use the Edgelog vendor.
I'm trying to think, is there another company perhaps that could give us a different perspective? Or different, I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with something else. I don't, to,
This is Beth Burns, and I will say again, we have tried to think outside the box on this.
yes.
We have talked about anything to make this work. We have even talked about transportation for people in our furthest reaches of our high school and capture, and to bring them in even a little bit closer. Like I said, we have thought outside the box on this as hard as we could, and it keeps coming back to this is what we have. So how are we going to implement it, or do we need more time?
I've got a lot of questions on it but we've got to somehow get this thing settled once and for all very shortly. You know, that's the
dilemma.
I mean, I don't know if we need to have a work session about it and try to get some of these differences worked out, or,
This is
but we've
Beth
got, but
Burns.
they're against the wall about planning too. That's the problem. And
Exactly, and the fact that if we don't make a decision here pretty soon, we're going to have missed our window of opportunity to get these routes into the system.
you've also, I mean, like these dual enrolled students and things like that with Cape Fear and
Absolutely.
Okay, I would like to address that too.
Because we've gotten some emails on that.
Yes, we have. Dr. Breedlove, Cape Fear Community College, how would they work with us with dual enrolled students?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for asking that question. Beyond a doubt, I've already had conversations with Cape Fear Community College. They base a lot of their classes on our schedule. And so knowing what our schedule is, they need to know what our schedule is in order for them to set up their coursework. And they're flexible based on what we offer in Pender County schools. And they've done that in the past when we've changed students from one to another or moved slightly a bell, but our conversations with both the president's office and I know Mr. Taylor spoke to their academic chief yesterday, and they said that they would work with us, whatever our schedule is.
That's what I expected, but thank you. Are there any other concerns that we need to address? Can you think of any other questions that folks who sent us emails or called us or texted us, can we think of anything else? Okay, board, well, now we are to appoint, I think, of suggestions.
anybody have any suggestions other than Mr. Reeves or Mr. Spivey?
Okay, would anyone like to make a motion? I just got a text, I've seen a text that, Mr. Reeves might be having some technical issues. Okay. Mr. Reeves, can you hear us now? I'll tell you what, folks, to fix this, we are going to take a 5-minute recess because I was unaware that we had a board member who was having some technical issues. So right now, we are going to have a 5-minute recess starting now. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your patience, everyone. During that recess, we were able to figure it out, why we weren't hearing from Mr. Reeves. And I'm happy to say Mr. Reeves is now on the phone with us. Mr. Reeves, do you have any questions or comments about what we've been talking about with three-tier?
Jim, I noticed on West Pender Middle School, they're going to school longer. Why is that?
Yes, sir. Currently, they're going to school longer as well. In conversation with Miss Garza and Miss Avery Ellington, the principal at Malpas Corner, we arranged transportation where they would drop off students at West Pender first and then transition to Malpas Corner Elementary in the mornings. And then in the afternoons, they would pick up the Malpas Corner Elementary students and then go over to West Pender Middle School to pick up those students. The same transportation practice is done at C.F. Pope and Bergall Middle School. It's just part of the process with those drivers being stationed at Malpas Corner, and furthermore giving our middle schools an opportunity for increased instructional contact.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other questions?
Ms. Burns,
Yes, sir.
that's all the questions I have, because while I couldn't speak, a lot of the questions were asked by Ms. Hanson and yourself, so I'm good.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Reeves. I'm glad we could get you on the line. Okay, with all of that being said, does anyone have any motions to make regarding three-tier bell schedule? As I've said before, you've got a couple of you can make a motion to approve this, you can make a motion to approve east side only, or if you feel that you are just not ready to make a decision, you could also table this. These are just suggestions.
If we were to table it, though, we would need to very quickly act, because they're running out of time.
Yes, Mr. Hall.
Planning, right?
Sir.
And we could always come back with a work session, but it would have to be very, very soon,
Because we've got,
Like next week.
like next week.
This is Tom Reeves. I make a motion that we table this.
Okay, I have a motion for Mr. Reeves to table. Do we have a second?
well, could we go ahead and, if we table it, though, does everybody want to go ahead and have a work session so our next regular meeting
It's
is
Tuesday.
June 10th, right?
That's right. Yes, June 10th.
Well, we would need to get on this next week, and
Yes.
I don't even mind if we have a meeting for it and people want to be heard if they want to come tell us what they want, but that would be a kind of a different meeting, but it would need to be just for this subject, to get
Okay.
it done.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Could we make the motion to table it, but go ahead and set a definite time that we're gonna, like Tuesday of next week or Wednesday, whatever. Preferably with, when everybody can come, that'd be better, because we gotta get this thing decided one way or the other.
In
My
person.
my
we need to be in
suggestion.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
That's-
My suggestion would be to go ahead and second the table, second the motion, and then we could plan the meeting time, date thereafter.
So could we make the motion to table it with the stipulation that we have a work session and a vote in the same day?
Are you making a friendly amendment to the motion?
Yes, to decide this one way or the other. See what I'm saying? Does that make sense to everybody?
Mr. Reeves, are you all right with the friendly amendment to your motion? Yes, he is. Okay,
All right, then I'll second that motion.
Mr. Hall seconds. We will have a roll call vote. We have a motion and a second. Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Ms. Hanson,
Yes.
Mr. Spivey,
Yes.
and Mr. Reeves. Very good, and the motion passes, and we will start planning that special call meeting very, very
We
soon.
probably need, I mean, while we got everybody here,
Right, and we can do that, we can plan this
I
after.
mean, I can do it Tuesday of next week. It's cool with me.
Let me look.
This is Mr. Reeves. I'm good with Tuesday also.
How about
Okay,
Mr. Spivey?
can we? Yes, could we do this in the
Tuesday.
afternoon?
Tuesday's not work for me.
Okay. Could you call in, perhaps? Or that it just doesn't work at all?
Yeah, I could probably call in.
Perfect, okay.
What's the best
So-
time you can do?
There's beginning teacher celebration too.
There is,
Tuesday
that's
at
what I
9,
was thinking, at 9 o'clock, that's why I was asking if we could do this,
Like at 1 or something.
or, yes.
I can do any time that day.
Would 1 o'clock Tuesday work for everyone? Okay, thank you. Let's make that at 1 o'clock on June 3rd. And let's make sure that that is a virtual meeting. So if we need members to call in, we can accommodate that, and they will still be counted towards the quorum.
So can the staff make that?
Yes, sir.
That will happen. Okay, now that that is concluded, we have one more order of business. 3.2, pre-K surplus request.
In an effort to continue to try to remove some of the items on our campuses or our properties that need to be discarded, we have identified several pre-K buses that are beyond reasonable repair. Many parts have been cannibalized in order to maintain current equipment. Therefore, Transportation Services is requesting a list of vehicles provided to you to be declared surplus in order to dispose of the property. They have already been declared surplus by the pre-K program, so this is the next step in making sure we get these off of our rosters. Staff recommends these items to be placed on the consent item at the June meeting, but my recommendation today is that we declare these items surplus so that these vehicles can be disposed of as scrap metal.
Can we go ahead and take action on it right now, so you don't have to wait
I'm
till June?
sorry.
Yes, we
I was
can.
reading from my recommendation.
Oh, okay.
I meant-
All right.
You were reading from
Because
the
I didn't know
cow.
if it could get added to this agenda item, so I was reading it so my recommendation today is that you approve declaration of surplus so that we can dispose of these buses.
I will make a motion that we approve that.
Very good. We have a motion from Mr. Hall.
Jennifer Hansen, second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Let's see, at this time, let's see, Ms. Hanson?
Yes, oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Spivey? Mr. Spivey? Mr. Reeves?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, and the motion passes. At this time,
Thank you.
thank you very much, Mr. Taylor, I appreciate it. At this time, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion, we adjourn. This is Tom Reeves.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. All in favor, please say aye. Mr. Reeves?
Aye.
Mr. Spivey? Mr. Hall?
Yes.
And Ms. Hanson?
Yes.
At this time, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate it.